Wait. I've got some good news for you. If you're anxious about Halloween, you'll want to watch this video all the way through. I've got some great coping mechanisms for you. Ready? Okay, let's go. So, haunted houses and scary movies can trigger a reaction that just isn't fun for you. Why some people get more spooked than others can depend on, to some extent, just simply how they're wired. When we get scared, it causes a rush of adrenaline. For example, and I feel I should issue a trigger warning at this point, when there's, for example, a person with a chainsaw in a haunted house, some people might react and get startled before their brain properly processes it, and then they think, okay, they're not actually really in danger. People who already have anxiety about these kind of things may remain frightened even though they know there's nothing to worry about. So a person who already has anxiety about these kind of things will have a much harder time of it trying to switch between the emotional brain and the thinking brain. Because your mind is already on alert, situations like going to a haunted house or watching a scary movie may seem a lot more scary to you than it does for the people around you. You're already feeling anxious, so when the scary things do happen, the body is already prepped to respond even bigger than the average Joe. But Sally Queen Boy, you suave and sophisticated YouTuberist, I hear you ask, how do we know how to cope with it all? Well, my kind and actually a little bit scary viewer, you'll want to sit back, relax and allow me to enlighten you. How to cope. So, even though you can't help how you feel, developing a good coping strategy can help you ease and even greatly reduce your anxiety about Halloween. And here are 9 ways to help you do that. 1. Acknowledge the problem. So, having Halloween-induced anxiety may feel embarrassing, but invalidating those fears can actually make it worse. One of the fastest ways of making it harder on yourself is saying to yourself, I really shouldn't be feeling this way. So once you acknowledge those feelings, don't beat yourself up about them. Have some mindful self-compassion and don't beat yourself up about having these feelings. Let's put it this way, you wouldn't judge someone that you love when they have these kind of feelings and when they get scared, so why do it to yourself? 2. Explore why you feel the way you do. So maybe someone jumped up behind you when you was a kid at a Halloween party, for example, or maybe you've experienced a triggering break-in. Try exploring where your fears come from, whether it be through a therapist or whether it's through journaling in a book. This will hopefully be one of the first steps in helping you move past those fears. Meaning, if you can understand where the fear came from, it's easier to use a thinking part of your brain to dispute that irrational fear. 3. Understand that sometimes it's just biology. Now, it may even be the case that you haven't even experienced a traumatic event of any kind. Horror movies and haunted houses have just always been scary to you, in which case it could just be biological and something that's just within your nature. If that's the case, then you might want to try on working on accepting that fear, as it's just the way that your brain's processing things. This should hopefully go towards making you feel a little bit better in your own skin. 4. Know when to avoid and when to confront. So your first inclination may be to just avoid things that scare you altogether, but facing your fears can actually be helpful. One of the best treatments for this may be to actually seek out what scares you, and I can understand if one of those things is watching this video. That reminds me, don't forget to hit that like button if you are getting value from this. Cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT for short, can help you challenge and handle your fears by exposing you to them. In a controlled environment with your therapist, you can gradually work up your tolerance. And if you want to know a bit more about how CBT can help with your anxiety, I've got a bit more on this later. However, on the flip side, you may be able to work up enough tolerance to be able to handle maybe a few scary scenes of a movie, but a haunted house, yeah, that's just never gonna happen, and that is perfectly okay. Just as long as doing things like avoiding haunted houses doesn't do anything to significantly reduce your quality of life. 5. Try mindful breathing. So mindful breathing can induce a relaxation response. By doing this, you're activating the part of the nervous system that turns off all those alarm bells. Now, the best time to do this varies from person to person. It may be in the moment that you're experiencing this anxiety, just before you go into the haunted house or watch the scary movie, or maybe you want to get the scary event over with and then do your breathing. In this situation, it just depends on how well you know yourself. However, I do need to issue a warning here. If you do start that breathing at the peak of your fear, it can start and induce hyperventilation. 6. Challenge your thoughts. Though haunted houses can be understandably scary, the truth of the matter is that skeletons don't really come to life and zombies aren't real. Yeah, let's forget about that, shall we? So when you come into contact with these type of things, then just ask yourself, is this real? Could this really happen? A lot of us take our own thoughts as absolute truth, but sometimes we do need to challenge those thoughts. And of course, yes, there are some movies where the plots there can be a bit more plausible, and this can be frightening. In this case, you just need to ask yourself how realistic this is and how likely is it actually going to be that it's going to happen to you. So when you come to realize that there's actually only a very, very tiny chance that it's going to happen to you in real life, it can help distance you from the situation. 7. Reframe the situation. So even the best of us get a little bit freaked out by a certain scene in a scary movie. So maybe try thinking about that scene from a different angle whenever you're watching a movie that turns out to be scarier than you thought it would be. Remind yourself, this is just a movie, they are just actors, they were paid a ton of money and were probably having fun while they're filming that scene. And you may even come up with a mantra to say to yourself when you're watching these kind of scary movies, such as, I am safe, or this is not real. 8. Get support from friends. So, since haunted houses and scary movie nights seem to be social events, try leaning on your friends for help and support and comfort. Being around people in a situation where you're getting scared can create a soothing response, because when we're going through it, we look at other people's faces and we read their emotions. One good thing about emotions is that they're contagious, and in that they have a soothing effect. For example, when a toddler first learns how to walk and when they fall down, the parents start to laugh, they're less likely to cry than if their parents grasped and had a concerned look on their face. So if your friends start to laugh when something scary happens in a haunted house, then it can actually have some sort of a calming effect on you, and it may help you to relax. It's also important to start putting up some boundaries and expectations, such as asking your friends to link arms with you when you're going through a haunted house, or that when you're watching a scary movie in the theatre and something scares you, you walk out the expectation that your friends don't make fun of you or laugh or anything like that. 9. Find other ways to celebrate. Realise that you have a choice in how you participate in Halloween. Yeah, there's more to Halloween than just ghosts, goblins and thrillers. There really is no right or wrong way to celebrate Halloween. Everyone is unique and we all celebrate it in different ways and on different levels. So why not focus on the part of Halloween that doesn't scare you and build your Halloween around that? For example, Halloween coincides with the harvest season. You could focus on those aspects when you celebrate. And you can even decorate your house with things like pumpkins with nice smiley faces, as opposed to ghouls, monsters and cobwebs and such things like that. If you're a parent, then it's a great way of seeing Halloween through your kids' eyes. Allow yourself to go back and enjoy it in the way that you did when you were their age. This might mean going to things such as corn mazes, do trick-or-treating, and really get into family costumes. And here's a thought, rather than focusing on, vampires or zombies and things like that, maybe dress up as a character from Frozen. If you don't have any children of your own, try and link up with someone who does. They'll be more than happy to have your company. Because at the end of the day, it gets dark. Oh, wait, just one more thing. Sorry, I forgot to mention CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. You can find out more about this and how it can help you with your anxiety and with your fears by just clicking here, and all will become clear.